From Uncover DC, an article by Brian Cates, August 11th, 2020. Democrats mistake Orwell's Animal Farm for instruction manual. An exceedingly strange phenomenon has been seen recently in American cities run by longtime Democrat Party machines such as New York, Chicago, and Los Angeles. While many Americans remain locked down inside their homes, unable to open their businesses or go to work or school or even to church, other Americans have been allowed to freely gather in large numbers, and it has become starkly evident that what puts a person in one group or the other is their political views. It cannot be denied that this is a completely political phenomenon. And that's what makes new societal development both revealing and dangerous. Did China fool the entire world? Early in the CCP virus pandemic, a case could be made for taking great precautions to stop the spread because so little was known about this new strain of the COVID virus. At this point, it's been revealed that for those under the age of 60, the mortality rate for COVID 19 is 0.004%. How then to explain the rampant hysteria that gripped the entire globe for the past 8 months? It must be remembered that the entire world saw the same videos coming out of China of the numerous extreme measures the CCP regime was resorting to in its supposedly frantic attempts to stop the spread of what was allegedly a new, horrifyingly contagious and deadly strain of COVID. Looking back now, what has become clear is that at the same time those videos were coming out of Wuhan, of infected persons collapsing and dying in the streets, and of people being locked and welded into their buildings as an extreme containment measure, this self-same regime was letting hundreds of thousands of infected Chinese persons fly out of the country to destinations all over the world. There is something very wrong with this picture because this picture makes no sense whatsoever. As the virus spread all over the world these past 8 months, there has only been one other country where videos surfaced of people collapsing and dying of the virus, and that country is Iran. I find that my attempts to locate similar videos of non-elderly COVID-infected people collapsing in the streets outside of those that escaped China and Iran coming up empty, which is disturbing. I am now forming a theory that the CCP regime used its massive foreign influence to turn a new strain of the COVID virus into an effective psychological warfare campaign on the rest of the world. The worldwide economic impact alone has been devastating. Welcome to a world gone insane. However this worldwide hysteria was launched, its effects are now clearly observable all around us. Just last night, I was horrified to see a video of a young girl in Australia being choked by a police officer during her arrest for the crime of not wearing a mask in public. We have all been treated for the past several months to the videos of police officers and sheriffs or city employees sent by these Democratic politicians to 1. Arrest a solitary man jogging on a beach or surfing in the ocean. 2. Arrest a mother pushing her child on a swing set in a park. 3. Weld shut the gates of a park so no one could enter. 4. Arrest hairdressers and other business owners who defied shutdown orders. Special privileges reserved for the politically correct. While all that insanity was going on, mass arrests in these self-same cities that often turned into violent riots were also happening. Events where protesters gathered were packed together like sardines. As you can see from the photos provided, I am not exaggerating. And to add to this, even more blatantly infuriating, many of the same mayors determined to keep most of the people in their cities completely locked down have been eagerly and enthusiastically joining these mass gatherings. Within hours of sending city workers to weld park gates shut, New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio was being proudly photographed as part of a mass public demonstration in New York City. The contrast could not be starker. The radical Marxists are simply taking the next steps in their agenda to divide Americans. All the progressive left is doing here is making rapid use of this pandemic as a catalyst for taking the next step in their politically correct agenda to fracture and weaken America so it can be taken over to implement a radical agenda. Those who hold to the same politically correct views of this now blatantly insane Democratic Party will be publicly rewarded and granted special privileges. Those who do not will be punished and made examples of. De Blasio and these other Democratic leaders have made it crystal clear what you can and can't do, what rights you do and do not have in their cities and states is now dependent completely upon what your political beliefs are. If you have the same radically far left views these Democratic leaders do, then you are rewarded with special privileges. The whole point of the radical left rolling out white privilege and systemic racism at this time is to prepare the grounds for removing the rights that they call false privileges of those American citizens who will not join their revolution. And if you won't join their revolution, that makes you the enemy. No American patriot can consent to this treatment at the hands of actual tyrants. Let me state this clearly on behalf of every American citizen currently locked down in their homes in these blue states as they watch their more equal betters running through their city streets with complete freedom. We did not consent to this. We did not consent to have two classes of people in this country, those who are more equal and those who are not. This is not the contract between the citizens and the government formed by their explicit consent. Without that consent, there is no legitimate government. The only option for an American patriot in the face of the breaking of the compact between citizen and state is to rebel, throw off the tyranny, and institute new government. Either that or vote the tyrants out in the next election. None of these radical Democratic mayors and governors campaigned on engaging in this kind of behavior. They did not say, vote for me and I will divide the city based on political correctness, rewarding those who embrace revolutionary views and punishing those who do not. They all hid their true nature until they were established in office. Had they revealed they would engage in this type of tyrannical behavior while they were candidates, none of them would have been elected. George Orwell's Animal Farm was supposed to be a cautionary tale, not an instruction manual for petty tyrants holding public office that wish to illustrate exactly how some animals are more equal than others. It is time for all Americans everywhere of all races, classes, and creeds to stand together and resist those who are deliberately seeking to pull us apart for their own vile political purposes. President Donald Trump himself correctly diagnosed this cancer back on July 4th in the epic speech he delivered at Mount Rushmore from the speech. And yet, as we meet here tonight, there is a growing danger that threatens every blessing our ancestors fought so hard for, struggled, they bled to secure. Our nation is witnessing a merciless campaign to wipe out our history, defame our heroes, erase our values, and indoctrinate our children. Angry mobs are trying to tear down statues of our founders, deface our most sacred memorials, and unleash a wave of violent crime in our cities. Many of these people have no idea why they are doing this, but some know exactly what they are doing. They think the American people are weak and soft and submissive. But no, the American people are strong and proud, and they will not allow our country and all its values, history, and culture be taken from them. The president went on to say, in our schools, our newsrooms, even our corporate boardrooms, there is a new far left fascism that demands absolute allegiance. If you do not speak its language, perform its rituals, recite its mantras, and follow its commandments, then you will be censored, banished, blacklisted, persecuted, and punished. It's not going to happen to us. Make no mistake, this left-wing cultural revolution is designed to overthrow the American Revolution. In so doing, they would destroy the very civilization that rescued billions from poverty, disease, violence, and hunger, and that lifted humanity to new heights of achievement, discovery, and progress. To make this possible, they are determined to tear down every statue, symbol, and memory of our national heritage. President Trump is right. The time has come for every person in this country who values our common American culture, our history, and our heritage to take a stand. They will not divide us. We will remember we are Americans, and as patriots, we will stand. Brian Cates entered the political arena in March 2012 following the death of Andrew Breitbart. He is currently a political columnist for the Epoch Times and Uncover DC. Brian is based in South Texas and is the author of Nobody Asked for My Opinion, but Here It Is Anyway. Twitter, Draw and Strike. Subscribe star, Brian Cates. Epoch Times, Brian Cates. Links in the description. Thanks for listening.